And greetings once again. And let's have a look at the BetBoom playlist Freedom 2023. Another day, another fantasy. So this one's going to be pretty interesting. And this one is only the group stage where you win three, you go through to the playoffs, you lose three, you're out. So it's pretty clear what to expect over here, right? Double elimination bracket after that, single elimination playoffs. Well, okay, interesting. Well, anyway, teams attending, so there will be teams invited straight into the playoffs, I think. Um, so yeah, this is going to be interesting. Bad News Eagles and Force and Eternal Fire. Mm, interesting. And who else? Uh, hmm, interesting. Whatever. Show. Let's start with Heat. The expectations on the Heat, and let's just look at the Heat lineup, right? Uh, Haji, Makalaki, Joko Exercise. If we look at the numbers, each player is pretty decent, but Maka is obviously the heavy hitter. Uh, who's gonna be playing the main rifle role? Have no idea. Maybe it's gonna be Lucky, but again, like if we look at the stats for the past few games, his stats individually are okay, but if we look at the matches, we're gonna see 1.3. So Uh, it's not like he's been playing like the most aggressive roles or like the heavy hit roles. So again, not the best option for the heavy hitter, right? As a filler, 205k is a bit too much. But what's my expectation on the Heat? Do I expect them to go 3-0? I don't think so. Can they go 3-0? Technically, they can. Right, first matchup against K23. K23 with a new lineup. It's kind of interesting. Alien, Railway, X5, Raging, which is quite decent. Raging and Magna, they both are pretty strong players, and I'm pretty sure that if we just look at the pricing, that K23 is probably the best priced filler players. Is these two guys potentially can bring really good points to you. And if we just look at the numbers, what we're gonna see, the upcoming stars, right? This one is pretty poor, right? So what can we expect? Not much again, right? So pretty bad results for Magna, right? If we look at the region, what we're gonna see is a region stats. Uh, Again, same thing, right? Like they've been on a bad streak, but potentially these two players have a good potential, right? They kind of upcoming stars of the CAS, right? Not proven yet, but upcoming stars, right? Once again, that one is 18, and well, Radiant is 22 already. Right, that's kind of unexpected. X5, well, this guy has been around for some time now, right? The Steam Guard, and if we look at his stats, then what we're gonna see, he's 19 years old, and he's been actually doing pretty well, right? While everyone else isn't doing that good, he's he's had pretty decent uh, ratings in these type of games, right? Against Nexus, against Apex, the only positive player currently, right? So K23 and Alien, of course, we can't really deny him, right? Even with his experience, maybe it's a redemption time, right? Who knows? Maybe Alien is gonna perform well at this type of event, right? But again, In the first matchup, K23 against Heat, I kind of prefer Heat in this one, right? Then Copenhagen Flames going to play in Celia, which is another tier 3 clash. And this game will be pretty interesting because in Celia, finally they broke that curse of like not getting to HLTV. Uh, and now they actually on HLTV pretty often, right? If we look at the lineups, well, obviously Castle is a sniper, right? But he's kind of struggling one. Polt is no doubt the best player over there. That for me, that's kind of probably the first one to get out, right? If there's going to be any changes. And Pip, mm, for me, he's probably the second best player over here, right? 205k for him, and they're gonna play against Copenhagen Flames the first game. I don't know. For me, this one is kinda weird, and we know that God from Sky with Farlek, with Rals, with Borup doing pretty well. This one probably gonna be like 50-50 game, but Flames slightly have the advantage on the experience point, right? So I kind of have that faith in Silo that they can go through as like 3-2, right? But I don't really expect them to go like 3-0 or 3-1, right? For me, they're more like a 3-2 team. Now one win. Okay, where's one win? Uh, Here we go, one win. Deco, Travis, Nickel, Boomich, Forrester, right? All the same suspects, right? Uh, is this a good event for them to play in? I don't know. I have no idea what to expect from them, right? Because if we look at the most recent games of one win, we're not really going to see like a lot of easy games. But where's the matches? Here we go. Here we go. Sampi, Sangal lost to OG. That's the Blast major qualifiers, right? Like after this, they only played like what couple officials, and yesterday they played against Sampi. That one was 2-0, right? 16-13, 16-13. And again, like Deco, it's like one man army, right? Is it worth like taking anyone else? Because this team is clearly playing for him to be main guy, right? And what happens if he doesn't really perform on a day? Well, it kind of turns into a disaster, right? As we saw at the Arma, right? He didn't really have a great stats. Didn't really perform as everyone expected, and they couldn't do anything, right? So, do I expect them to go 3-0? Potentially, they do have a chance, and simply by the rankings, they are one of the best teams attending, right? So they probably are one of those teams that has a chance to go for 3-0, but only if Deco plays really well, right? And if Deco doesn't play well, then who's gonna take over him, right? Travis? Yes, but Boomich? Hell no. Forrester? I don't know what happened to this guy. Like he he had so much potential a couple of years back, but now it's just meh. Like 1.07 rating is like I don't know. Just I don't really see this team of doing any any decent results in upcoming time. But they do have a potential to go as 3-0, right? Um, Next, prospects. Um, I'm actually paying attention to prospects, right? Because they have some decent prospects. Let's say Hype, that's an OPA. He is pretty decent. Like almost every game, he's like top fragging, and they actually doing some damage to some like pretty interesting teams, right? Let's say they played pretty well against Sangal, right? Sangal isn't really that good, but at least they decent. They played against the 322 team 359, also easy win, right? And these guys have been like, playing together for some time now, and surprisingly, I think they might be like one of the dark horses that potentially can take this 3-0 position in the tournament, right? Only because nobody really expects them to do that well, right? If we're considering like the second best player in a team, if you look at the numbers, you might be thinking that Frozen might be the guy, right? Or maybe Spook, right? But for me, Boxt, Bobixt, whatever, like this guy is doing pretty well, right? And if we look at his numbers, right, he's 19. His stats are okay, but just look at the match history and 116, 145 against Sangal. Uh, here we go, 167, 073, 073. But then 1.10, 098, 126. Like his stats are decent, right? He might be the X factor that you might need because occasionally he does have those games where he can go like 1.5 rating, right? Like 1.5, 1.46, basically nearly the same thing, right? 1.6 against Ego, right? Like this is the guy that you might need in your team if you're looking for a filler, right? And 192k as a filler, it's not that bad, right? But like if you want to go for the gamble on the prospects, then Hype is your guy, right? And probably you have to pair him with the Bobix, right? Roif, I don't know. It's like I'm not really sold on this guy, right? But I think he's just doing the job, right? He's being that guy that just does whatever the team needs, right? Even though like 172 rating, one game, but then every other game he's just like, yeah, he's there for the team. He's not playing for his stats. So it's kind of underappreciated player. But for your fantasy team, he's not the guy. So again, hyped is the main guy over here. And if you need to pair him with someone, then Bob's 100% is your guy. Uh, in terms of one win against prospects, uh, well, on the experience, this is probably the game where prospects have to, kind of either show us that they are ready, and obviously they have no pressure of like, I don't know, being beaten by a weaker team or whatever. They are actually the guys that are completely free of any kind of pressure, and they just playing to show what they're worth, right? So for me, these guys are probably kind of next Gambia youngsters, but again, I'm not sure like what to expect from them, right? My expectation is for them to go probably 3-1, right? The worst case scenario 3-2, but I'm convinced that they will make playoffs. Um, Sprout. What can we say about Sprout? I think they're actually playing right now. And oh no, they just finished. Yeah. Okay. Did they win? I hope they did. They were playing against Imperial. Yeah, they did. And again, just look at the Sprouts results, right? Uh, they barely beating like teams that they should be beating. But Longs is in really good shape, and if we look at the pricing, Longs 201,000 is a freaking steal. Is a steal. So that's gonna be my insta lock, right? I believe in this guy. He's gonna do amazingly, hopefully. So that's my first pick, right? Um, Now, in terms of do I believe in Sprout going 3-0? Hell no. Have n- no intention to even think about that, right? Do I believe Sprout gonna go through the whole event to the playoffs? Um, Considering that we have teams like Astralis Talent and Mouse NXT and like Big Academy Forward, yes, in Celio as well, A23, yes, I do think that Sprout, simply on the firepower level, is gonna go through, right? If you look at the Sprouts, like Star, come on, 213k for the guy that somehow is losing like, some duels that he's not supposed to lose. He's obviously not in the best shape, and their first game is going to be against Webster's, which on the other side are like one of the lowest tier teams over here. But right, like who are these guys, right? Like if you look at the ratings, yeah, ratings are okay-ish. But again, like these are the cash cup players, right? MDS, Box, okay, these are two players that been around for some time, right? They've been playing in Nemiga, I think. Sugar's been in Aurora for some time, but again, like these are unproven guys that don't really have anything said yet for them. But again, mm, I don't see them doing like really well, right? They might cause some issues. They might like win against someone like I don't know, someone like 2-2 game or whatever. But I don't expect anything from them, right? Um. So for me, Sprout should be winning this one, yeah, and advancing through. So now Mouse NXT against Spirit Academy. Mm, Now this is where it gets interesting. According to Overdrive, Mouse NXT, all right, not Mouse NXT, but the main Spirit lineup is making some changes, and probably it's gonna be Sniper, and probably it's gonna be Donk, right? So it's Art Frost and Donk that potentially will be moving to Spirit main roster, right? What does it mean for Spirit Academy? Um, this means that at the moment, potentially, they can stay without practice, or maybe just practice with the chopper and the main lineup, right? Which means that Spirit Academy roster is not really doing what they're supposed to do. So for this reason, mm, I will avoid Spirit Academy players, even though, like, if they're actually gonna play and if they're actually doing everything that they're supposed to do, they should be advancing like 3-1, maybe 3-0. Mm. But again, I'm not convinced. And as I said, right, according to Overdrive, Spirit Academy, well, players will be joining uh, Spirit lineup. So, mm, and they playing against Mouse NXT. Mouse NXT, which right now uh, is not doing pretty bad, right? Jimpa is playing hard carry for them. Slant isn't doing that bad, right? 216k for this guy is, for me, it's kind of a bit too much. For the academy players, fantasy admins, if you're watching, fix this, please. Right? You have the Mouse NXT with the prices of 218k. When you have like players like where is it? Farlick for 220k, Star for 213, like Deco is 226, like Travis 216, right? And you have the freaking Jimpo for 218, right? It's just doesn't make sense. You have Kenzie for 221, right? Who's gonna win, Kenzie or Jimpo? Obviously, Kenzie is a much better player in general. Mm, so again, Mouse NXT in this game, mm, I won't be surprised if we see like Spirit Academy to test some other players that might be on the way to join the academy just in this event, because this is like a long term event, right? It's gonna last for uh, almost a whole month, right? The whole event. So maybe they're just gonna like in first couple of games try some players that might be potentially drawing, and there'll be some stand-ins, whatever. So I don't expect Spirit Academy to actually do anything other than just play the event, maybe for practice. That's it. So in terms of who's gonna win, if Spirit Academy plays in as a main roster, Spirit Academy is probably gonna win. If they're gonna make some changes, then Mouse NXT has a good chance, right? Now Astralis talent against Nine Pandas. Seized finally got some players that can do something. Idis Balance and Glowing. Mm, this is where it's getting kind of interesting, right? Seized, washed, but with some tier 2 players, he can get some result, right? Even though he can play decent in some games. I've seen like in one of the recent games, he hit like 30 bomb or 40 bomb, whatever. Like he's been playing pretty well, and he's only 28. So what was it? Here we go against Bait. The guy hit 30 bomb, right? Yeah, that's the game, right? No one expected that, but the guy hit 30 bomb. And occasionally, like look, Tunnel Fire, he's getting some decent ratings, right? But he's an IGL, and nobody really expects him to do any damage, right? Clax is a support player. The leaders, I don't know. This guy, just I'm not a big fan of him. So we kind of expecting Idis Balance and Glowing to go for the uh, kind of star roles. And if we look at the most recent games from the Idis Balance, they played actually. I think they played yesterday, and I think they even won. And they were playing Webster's. Oh, that was a couple of days ago. Mm, they actually lost the Webster's. That's interesting. But yeah, they were playing Bait a couple of days ago. They won Bait, and I'm pretty sure I saw Nine Pandas playing yesterday. Yeah, they did against Entropic. Why isn't that displayed? Whatever. So yeah, the leaders seized, glowing, clacks, disbalance. Surprisingly, these players were actually gained some good ratings. But again, once again, for me, Nine Pandas, they're not in question for the 3-0 position, right? 3-1, 3-2, maybe. And if you're considering a player to pick from this lineup, then 199k for the leaders, maybe. But again, I I don't want to pick any of these players, and I actually believe there are better options, right? So even if they go 3-1, I don't know which player can potentially go like nuclear rating and just bring you shitloads of points. Just have no idea about that. And in terms of Astralis talent, right? Mm, let's go to Astralis talent. And what do we expect from Astralis talent, right? If we look at the ratings, everyone is pretty similar. Zip right now is just a disaster, right? Um, let's look at the stats of his previous game, and what we're gonna see against Masonic 0.97, 0.91, Illumina 1.4. Again, like he's there to actually help the boys, right? Against prospects, he had a really decent game, but then I think he started like taking those roles, which like he's supposed to take, right? As a support and as someone who's trying to develop young talent, right? If we actually look at the game, mm, game stats, who actually played well? No one. So what are we even talking about? Astralis talent, in my eyes, probably gonna be like one free team, right? Uh, so for me, it's not really worth picking anyone from over here. Yes, Zip is like a guy with tons of experience, but he's there to develop young talent, right? He's not there to actually hit the hard numbers and just get huge ratings. So again, Nine Pandas already discussed about that. Uh, Aurora. Aurora is playing 0 Nation. This is the worst start for anyone that's considering picking either 0 Nation or Aurora players. But Aurora are well known of being really good online, and these type of events are kind of the bread and butter for them, right? They are pretty good in these type of events, and if we look the most recent stats, that was Blast Armor, and that's it. Like, I think they actually did play some games recently, but I don't know what to expect from them over here, right? On the other side, we have 0 Nation, who are fairly priced. You have Cold Zero for 196k. Damn. Dumao is, I don't know, kind of overpriced for me. Lato 203, really good price. And QZ, probably the best budget OPPO that you can ask for, like other than Latic, but Latic isn't really that guy that's gonna play hard carry roles all the time, right? When NQZ potentially can be set up uh, as a main guy for the lineup. Um, about his individual stats, let's just quickly have a look, and yeah, doesn't look pretty well, right? As a sniper, these type of ratings, just it's unacceptable. So maybe they changed something, maybe they adopted new strats, maybe they're gonna let him a bit loose. Anything can happen. But if we just look at the raw firepower, then unfortunately for 0 Nation, uh, Kenzie, Norvi, Celta are just way better than any of these guys, right? Maybe Dumao can actually hit some shots, but in general, mm, mm, there's no competition over here, right? So for me, it kind of makes sense to try and go with Kenzie plus Celta in this lineup, right? And try and kind of focus on them, right? Because for me, they potentially can go 3-0 without uh, any strong opposition, right? And again, I'm really afraid of them not actually taking this event serious, but they have nothing else to play for, right? It's either you play this event to win, or you just don't give a cookie about this event at all, right? So I hope they kind of care about this event, right? Uh, and for me, they're just gonna be my main focus. Now the last one, big academy against forward. So mm, let's start with forward. That's more problem Lime cause and players like other than Lime, which apparently is being tested to Virtus Pro. Uh, I know more is just streaming, so for him, he doesn't really take this probably serious. Problem, I don't know what this guy is doing. He's been around for years. I remember the Hellraisers lineup with him in the and with Lime, right? And they stay still playing together, and they haven't really got anywhere since that time, right? So for me, these guys are just meh. They might just beat Big Academy, but I don't know. For me, they also kind of that team that potentially can just go 0-3 and that's it. Now on a Big Academy, which player can actually do pretty well? As we saw recently, Process is maybe he's even worth for Big to actually take as a full time main player. I know he was pretty well, and for me, he didn't really drop a bomb from Faven. He didn't play that bad. Sky, I don't know. Sin, I don't know. Arrow again, like all these guys are okay, and Sensei, 190k for sniper, mm, pretty interesting, right? If we look at the matches, what we're gonna see is I think this guy has actually potential, right? They play against Monte, 125, 134. Uh, so, right? Process played decent. Sin, uh, what about him? What about him? Play profile, 21. And again, not the worst stats, right? And Big Academy against Forward, once again, this is a 50-50 game. And is it worth picking any players from the Big Academy? Do I expect them to go forward? No. This game, like, for me, one team is going to finish 1-3, the other one is finishing 0-3, right? Because if we look at the lineups and at the names and just which teams can actually like do pretty well, then for me, like clear 0-3, like three teams that potentially can go 0-3 are these two teams and Astralis Talent. Webster's, if they get unlucky, yes, but like even Webster's are just like 1-3 team for me, not 0-3. So these are four teams that I'm completely dodging, right? Nine Pandas, they stronger, Talent stronger, Spirit Academy, if they testing the new players that potentially gonna come instead of Donk and Artrost, potentially can go still 1-3. They still way better than these teams. And again, right? These teams are just not worth it. Now I have two slots left, and what do I need? I need A. I need a sniper. B. I need another player that potentially can uh, bring some good points in a kind of game where I know everything goes according their way. So I have hype. If I take hype, I'm on 170k left. Is there any player that I potentially can take for 170k? It's Date. Do I want to risk and take Date? If we look at his stats, then we're probably going to see like a lot of red. A lot of red. 23 years old. Yeah, every game is red. Every game is red. One game. Couple of them over here. So. Right? So obviously I can't take hype. So I still need a sniper. And who can I take as a sniper, which potentially gonna bring me good points and not gonna screw up my lineup? Castle, I don't think so. K23 with Alien. Alien might be worth it, but again, I don't know. Uh, Xelo, I don't know. Just Xelo for me is kind of meh, but again, right? There's something that's telling me that they really had rough time, right? And now they potentially can go for it, right? And if it works out, great. If no, it is what it is, right? So I can kind of gamble on him for 198k. It might work out alongside with longs, right? less than 400k for two Sprout players that are kind of like top four team of the event makes sense, right? The most recent result, once again, they just beat Imperial. That's Brazzy Party, that's online event. They have to grind, right? Star was just horrible. Xello 1.9 rating. If we look at the Mirage, he was bottom fragging. If we look at the Ancient, he was actually top fragging, right? But they lost Ancient. If we look at the Inferno, it was okay, right? Six, unexpectedly well played in this on this map, right? And he's 200k as well, but like I don't know. Like for me, it's not worth like taking him when you can take like Longs, right? Or Xiphon. Like perfectly if you're gambling for some like high tier OPA, like taking where is it? Taking both of these guys. Here we go. Xiphon is 202 and Longs is 201. Like taking both of them is just great for you, right? But that's only if you have like understanding of what you actually want to do, right? And now Royf, as I already mentioned, he's not the guy. Date is not a guy. No, no, no. So for me, there's kind of like only two players that potentially I can pick from, right? It's Boomich and it's Nickelback, right? Nickelback is IGLing. Boomich is always going first, right? So Boomich is playing strictly entry frag, when Nickelback is playing kind of IGL, and potentially he can get some frags as a like secondary entry or so on, right? So if we look at the recent game, right? 1.04, 1.02, 19, 21, 22, right? Uh, White News Eagles, 1.6, right? Like 111. On tier 2, Nickelback might be enough to actually uh, get him as a filler, right? If we look at the Boomish stats, 148 against Sangol, like I believe everything like kind of worked out for him. But like every other game is just kind of red, right? 188 over here, but doesn't really count. And it's like red, 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 red. Every game is red. So it's not really worth like taking Boomich, I think. It might work out for you if you actually decide to take him, but it's too big of a gamble. So I think I'm just gonna take Nickelback, and I'm just gonna use him as I don't know support player or whatever. So uh, this is the team that I'm gonna go with. Multifrag support over here. Um, Entry role is no, no. Uh, Celta uh, is kind of okay. Actually, I can use Celta as that, and then I'm gonna use him as support and Kenzie multifrag or defender or multifrag. Defender, same thing. Headshot machine longs. Yeah, the guy is pretty crazy. And multifrag over here. So yeah, that's what I think. These are my thoughts. That's my lineup. And once again, right, in terms of gamble, prospects against one win is worth a gamble, right? If you really believe in prospect, then they might be the guys, right? Over here, for me, it's like even if one win loses to prospects, like they're just gonna demolish everyone else in like next games, right? Over here is probably Kenzie is gonna be on top of the scoreboard. Delta is probably gonna get baited. Cello, uh, flashbangs. Maybe he's gonna set up the guys, and pistol round or Avenger. Uh, I'd go for Avenger. Most likely it's gonna work out, right? So once again, yeah, that's my lineup. This is what I think, and if you're curious how it's going so far, well, Brazil party is not doing that well, even though like I took OG players and yeah, it's fine. Hyped, damn. If you're curious about where is it? If you're curious about the other one, which is ESL Challenger Melbourne, then that's the result. Greyman Floppy is still with points. Synopsy and GXX playing against Greyhound. So potentially I have three players that can actually play in a final, but yeah, 1 point in an event that doesn't go anywhere is just irrelevant, right? So yeah, if you're curious about the leaderboard in total, with all my gambling picks, I'm still on 64 points, and I even missed one, like where I registered in some in the wrong league, whatever, and that would actually like give me some other points. I think I would have like 70, maybe a bit more points. But yeah, once again, yeah, that's my team. This is what I think so, and good luck and have fun, and let me know what you think.